Welcome to another episode of TeeVo and the Beard.
I know you can't see it, but I'm TeeVo, and that's the beard.
Welcome back, TeeVo.
Thank you.
I'm sure that you had a great trip, which we will definitely get into, but I'm curious, did you have to deal with any of the weather that the rest of the state had to?
You know, it's funny. So, like we said, we are in Georgia, and over the past weekend, tropical storm, hurricane, whatever, Hermione, however you want to say
no,
it.
it's not Hermione. There was no O in there.
Well, the popular the fan wish was it was Hermione.
Right.
But nonetheless, Hermine.
Yeah.
Hermione, I've been saying it like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because we left on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
which is when they issued it. A lot of things were shut down. Possible evacuation and everything.
Right.
So we left, and on the road to Atlanta, clear skies,
Nice.
dry.
Mm-hmm.
We got to Atlanta, which, for those who don't know geographically, hurricanes usually affect coastal areas.
Right.
Atlanta is not a coastal area.
No, it's very landlocked.
It rained a lot when we got to Atlanta.
Nice.
And we were like, is this a point of why we left early?
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny. But after that, pretty clear skies.
Okay.
So we did not get the weather that affected the area, which, don't feel bad for us. It's not like we were homeless or anything. We just got a lot of rain and wind.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So I heard.
where I live, the power went out for literally 30 seconds. Now, it was 30 of the longest seconds of my life, I think. Because trying to explain to a 3-year-old that she can't watch her Netflix is very difficult.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Understand.
But we'll definitely get more into the your Dragon Con stories after our icebreaker.
Yes, so it is somewhat kind of related to Dragon Con.
Okay.
In the fact of, it's a big convention, a lot of fans around, a lot of fandom around.
Right.
You're definitely going to encounter people who think that they like so-and-so thing more than you.
Oh, yeah.
So my question to you is, what counts as true fandom to you?
True fandom.
Now, I'm going to use an example of an acquaintance we know
Okay.
who likes to pick out the most obscure facts about a show or someone and think that that's a superiority key.
Right, because he can use Wikipedia.
Yes. Well, that's sure, but I think of it as it's a very personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it has to mean something to you in a very personal way. So, like, jumping forward, when I met Brett Dalton this weekend,
Stalked.
I said Shield, it's not just an amazing show to me, but I really like the characters. I fell in love with the character. Your main character before the show. I got to know everybody in the show, and it's an hour of pure escapism for me every week, and I consider myself a big fan of it. That's my fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can quote it, and sure I can learn obscure facts, but that's trivial to me.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the feeling I get, and that goes with a lot of things, not just Shield, but that's just a better, best example.
Right, it's also the one coming up this month.
Exactly.
So you'll definitely be hearing a lot more about our opinions about Shield.
So go. So what is true fandom to you? What do you think?
True fandom, I think it does encompass a lot of things because you do have different levels of fandom. The first thing is you have to have respect for the franchise,
right?
Which should go without saying. But I've met some people that claim to be like Doctor Who fans,
right?
But know nothing about maybe like 1 or 2 episodes that they've seen, but they love those 1 or 2 episodes. I would consider them, they just like it. They're not fans,
right?
But in the fandom, you also have to have respect for the people that don't know as much.
Okay.
I think if you don't have respect for the people who know less than you, you shouldn't consider yourself part of the fandom. I know I just probably insulted so many people.
You should consider yourself a jerk.
Yeah, you definitely consider yourself a jerk. Yeah. So, and if you are that jerk, don't worry about listening to us.
Yeah.
But to be part of a fandom, you have to enjoy what you watch, or read or whatever, because you have comic fandoms, you have stuff like that. I don't want to leave anybody out, but let's just focus on the watching, the TV shows. So you have to enjoy what you watch. I believe you have to feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not just turning on mindless TV. It's escapism. You are an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
when you watch.
Exactly.
You know, when I watch Firefly, I am on Serenity.
Right.
You know the character names. You know enough about them that when you talk about the show, it seems like you're talking about real people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they are alien, superhuman, you know, regular human, whatever.
Yeah.
And another thing, and this is going to step on a lot of toes, you have to have merchandise. You have to own merchandise from that fandom to be a true part of that fandom, because we spend money on what is important to us.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you have to have like an entire wall of Funko Pops. You don't have to have every single thing that comes out for that, but you have to have
something. You're saying have
T-shirt,
something that speaks
keychain, something where you are literally wearing your fandom. Right now, TeeVo's wearing a Batman shirt. Yeah. So if I was part of the Batman fandom, which I kind of am, I'm in the lower echelon of that. You know, that's the connection right there. You connect to other fans that way, and it also shows, hey, whether the shirt costs $5 or $50, I'm willing to put my hard-earned money into this. And also, when you spend money on a fandom, that shows Netflix, ABC, Fox, whoever, that you enjoy it.
Maybe not Fox sometimes.
Maybe not Fox. Yeah. Kill Firefly, keep Gotham. I don't understand it. But yeah, it shows the executives, okay, if this person is going to spend $25 on a T-shirt, then obviously that we're doing something right.
Right.
And we should keep this going. So yeah.
Good
I don't apologize for any of the toes I stepped on. I stand by that.
It's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah, because I own tons of Wonder Woman stuff, Firefly stuff,
I own
Star
many
Trek
different
stuff.
things. It's a lot to. Let's just say for me, it's a lot to account for. So let's just say, you know, if I like it, I have something, and there's that feeling.
Yeah.
There's that it's almost like an X Factor feeling, how it makes you feel.
Yeah. And one disclaimer I'm going to put out there, because we don't try to get political or anything like that on this show. But if you're part of a fandom, don't bully another fandom. And don't bully within the fandom. Because, like, I like Star Wars and Star Trek. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if somebody thinks that Star Trek is far superior to Star Wars or vice versa. That is their opinion. They are free to it.
Well, I will say a disclaimer, though. I did encounter someone at Dragon Con who claimed that they love Power Rangers. They grew up with Power Rangers. And they were spewing about facts and all that. They said, yeah, Pink Ranger's dead. And I'm like, do you mean the Yellow Ranger?
Right.
Are we talking about Amy Jo Johnson? Because she is alive.
She's very much alive. Yeah.
Lee Chang is dead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that would be
know your facts.
Know your facts. But don't rely on the fact that you know facts be end all.
Yeah, don't think that you're a know-it-all on any of it. Yeah, because we're all human. I know a ton about Firefly. If somebody was to quiz me on it, though, I will get some of the questions wrong. Yeah. You know, because we're human.
But don't claim that's your hardcore thing if you don't know specific things.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
Well, I mean, especially with something big like that, you know.
Yeah, I heard him. I was like...
I mean, you can just do a general Google search for Amy Jo Johnson and find out she's alive.
Yeah, exactly. Or follow... Well, I even said Google, or if you follow Jason David Frank's anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't do social media. Well, you know, Google still exists.
Yeah.
So if you're such a big fan... That's all I'm saying.
And also, if you're part of a fandom, you need to do some sort of social media. I mean, I don't do Facebook, but Instagram, Twitter, you know, because you want to keep up with what's going on with your show.
That's how you'll know where they'll be, like at a con or something. Yeah. They announce things on their social media.
That's what it's there for.
I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
So, well, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
That's the icebreaker.
So, yeah, we will.
That was my grievance on certain things.
Yeah.
We're going to go into my Dragon Con adventure. So how we're going to do this is I don't take a lot of pictures, even though there are lots of things to be taken pictures of. Mm-hmm. Lots of cosplay. And I really like looking at all the costumes. But for me, I don't like taking pictures of it. Because at the end of the day, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah. Well, also, like you said a couple episodes ago, is when you go to Dragon Con, it is for you. Yeah. You put on your blinders, you have tunnel vision there. And
I go to the guests.
Yeah, you go to what TeeVo wants to see and do.
But I don't disrespect, because if anything, I have massive respect for the people in cosplay.
Right.
Because they didn't just buy these things last week. Or, you know, most of the people who are really hardcore into it, they have planned their costume and made them since the last Dragon Con ended, there are people probably right now making and planning their costumes.
Yeah. So at the very least, they're drawing it out.
I have nothing but respect for that.
Yeah.
But for me, you know, I like to look at it. I like to admire. You know, if I'm not jetting off to a panel or jetting off to get an autograph or a picture, you know, I'm admiring the costumes.
Yeah.
Because they're so creative. There's so many of them, and there's so, you know, they're so innovative. Some of them. But
just Google Purple Ranger Dragon Con.
Yeah. But do I take a picture of it? No. Because
well, the old crotchety man in me says that's perfectly okay, because I find that if I'm in any sort of social type thing, if I'm focusing on taking pictures, I'm missing so much else.
Yeah,
you know?
I think a little bit for me too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, yeah, that was awesome, but you know, what am I going to do with this picture?
Because if you want a picture of the Purple Ranger, just Google it.
Yeah,
it's right there.
Unless I got a picture with it,
which
you know could be cool, but you know, I got other things I'm.
You get Brett Dalton vision.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't. So it's not like we're gonna go through thousands of pictures.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on my Instagram where I posted the bulk of my pictures, and the beard is going to simply, you know, get the background of the story.
Yeah.
Because a lot happened in 4 days, and I don't think I want to sit here and try to recount everything. Let's get some.
And I definitely see a common theme within a lot of these pictures here. Yes. So we'll start with the very first one. You spoke a little bit about this your last episode. Your name tag.
Yeah.
The Dragon Con pass, I guess it is.
Yes. You get they put your real name, where you're from.
Mm-hmm. It says TeeVo right there.
Yes. and then you get like a nickname. For this year, I chose Balls Deep with a Z with Coulson. Though when it printed out,
I was about to say there's something missing here.
They didn't see. They never tell you how many characters fit on the thing.
Okay.
Because last year my nickname was, maybe I should have abbreviated, but I put John Stamos' name 3 times. Mm-hmm. And they just put John Stamos' name 1 time.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in retrospect I should have said John Stamos times 3.
Yeah.
But still, I thought, well, you know, the bubble where you put your nickname has, you know, doesn't tell you how many characters. So naturally I'm thinking, oh, well, you'll just print anything.
Right, yeah.
That's not the case. This year...
Yeah, you could fit the rest of Coulson's name on that.
I did with a Sharpie.
Okay.
So every year, like I said, you know, if you're going to Dragon Con, you have to get your badge at the Sheraton. I will say, like, and I hope everybody agrees with me this year they are getting better at this. You know,
well, 30 years, I would hope.
You would hope, but hey, it's true, because once, you know, there's a line waiting. Mm-hmm. So we got to the Sheraton about, like, I want to say almost like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
But we were almost first.
Yeah.
And they didn't open the lines till 8, you know, the door and everything. But once we were in, man, like, they were cycling people through.
Yeah.
They're getting better at that.
Okay.
So kudos Dragon Con because the lines to get your pass gets ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that will be that.
Now, I know we're not talking too much about, like, the, you know, advice or anything like that we did last time, but when you're getting your pass, do you have to have, like, your photo ID ready and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely have your ID.
Just for those who are planning on going next year.
And before we get to the second picture, there is a picture I did not get of. What I did, it would be, I went to a panel, and the reason I didn't get a picture was because I was not very close. So I was like, what's the point? Yeah. I don't want to take a picture of the screen.
Yeah.
But I went to the Daredevil panel.
Okay.
Yeah. And that guy is funny.
Yeah.
And he's very nice, because I got an autograph for a Funko Pop of him. He's very nice. I mean, you know, he is nice as you can be in a 1 minute window.
Right, yeah.
You know, you could tell some people.
He didn't take your Funko and throw it at you.
Yeah. Or he didn't just sign it and say bye.
Right.
So, you know, he was cool about that. Had some great stories. Shocker. So, for those who watched Netflix's Daredevil, remember the second episode where he has that famous hallway fight.
Right.
He did say, gonna have to say this, but a lot of that wasn't me. But he explained it why. Before they just got the job a month before they started shooting.
Oh.
And, you know, in that month, he has to put on an accent.
Right.
Be blind. Sell the fact that he's blind. Learns a lot of things. And, you know, he's like, you know, I let the stunt team figure everything out, and then I come in and learn the moves. I don't know what they're called. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But he did say in season 2, when they had a giant stairwell fight, he could say, by then, he's gotten in the groove of being Daredevil.
Right.
It's not still a learning process. He's like, he said, now that one, yeah, a lot of that's me. So, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely kudos to stunt people out there. I mean, I have people, always make big deals about when actors and actresses don't do their own stunts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it's one thing. It's nice to pat yourself on the back when you do, but I mean, the whole reason they're there is so you don't have to.
Right, yeah.
So
I don't want to get beat up.
Yeah. or even fake beat up.
Right, yeah.
And I can't do a spin kick, so
yeah.
Let them do that.
Now, this next picture here appears to be from a panel.
Yes.
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel,
the first Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel they had, which this year was really just Brett Dalton panels. Which is funny, they had a couple people who were guests maybe on one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I guess they weren't invited to the panel.
Oh, no.
Who cares?
Right.
You have Ward there.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So that would be the first time I laid my eyes on Brett Dalton.
And were there angels singing in a little
bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Man, he is funny. I don't know if you've ever YouTube other convention panels he's done. So I kind of had an idea how he is, and he did not disappoint. He's a very funny guy. I hope he gets comedy roles. Okay. Yeah. He just seems like naturally fun.
Yeah.
And when he answers questions, like the ball rolled with someone asking a question, and I can't remember the question was, but it was a very in-depth, deep question, and he just looks at her going, "Wow, wasn't expecting that one. I was expecting, what's your favorite color?"
Nice.
And then I shout out, "What is it?" And then a lot of people then follow suit. "What is it? What's your favorite color?" And he was like, clear. Clear is my favorite color.
Nice, yeah. I would have thought he was more of a green guy, but yeah.
So then I actually did get up and ask a question. Kind of embarrassed myself, because I don't think my question came out.
Did you try singing a theme song with him?
I did not. I was like, that's me and Deathlock's thing.
Right.
Me and Brett, if something forms, it'll be our own thing. But I had a question, and I don't know why I chose this question, and I don't think the question came out right. But I knew from Google, Google people.
Right.
He went to Yale with Lupita Nyong'o. And for those who don't know, Lupita Nyong'o, she won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. She plays Maz Kanata in Star Wars Force Awakens. She is going to be in the new Black Panther film. So, in terms of career, a little bit better than Brett Dalton.
A little bit, yeah.
And I brought that up.
And definitely has her geek cred there.
She does. She has, like, real cred and geek cred.
Right.
So, but I kind of brought that up.
Yeah.
And I don't think I phrased it right. Because, and I think when he was like, well, Lupita's definitely gone a different way, and then I blurted out, yeah, she won an Oscar, and he's like, yeah, thanks.
Oh wow.
But
give him time.
in what hopefully still is a joking way.
Yeah. Well, judging from your other pictures, you didn't completely scare him off.
Yeah. But my question was, did you at least reach out to her and say, you know what? At least I got into Marvel first.
Oh, yeah.
But let's just say, because my question was towards the end, and, when someone mentioned, again, that he's dead in the show, spoiler, in 2 ways.
Yeah. Double spoiler there.
He was like, yes, I know, I'm dead, and Lupita has an Oscar.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, no.
Just rub salt in his wound there.
And, yeah.
So we'll take
next picture.
We'll give Brett a break for a minute here and go from Marvel to DC.
I went to DC.
You went to DC. Not the capital, of course.
Yes.
And you met someone from Flash.
I did. I met Violet Bean, who I find is very attractive. I don't know.
I agree.
But it's like a very odd one.
Well, I think she's just like genuinely attractive.
I think so, yeah. If you're listening, Violet Bean,
we'd love to have you on the show.
And
TeeVo would love a date.
Or just say you're listening.
Yes.
At the very least.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Yeah.
If that's even your thing.
Right.
If you know what YouTube is.
She might not do social media.
She might not. Maybe it's just the Instagram. Mm-hmm. I don't know that.
You just got really old there by calling it the Instagram.
Yeah. There you go. But she was nice. I think the one thing, the main thing with guests, if they have a line or, even if sometimes they don't have a line, please gauge.
Yeah. And this was at one of the tables?
Yes. From most of my pictures will be at the tables.
Okay.
But, again, please gauge, they're not there to have a full-on conversation.
Right.
You might think they are, and if they do, go buy a lottery ticket or something.
Yeah.
But, generally try to keep it short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if there's a line.
Remember, you're not the only fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a huge line behind us, but there were a couple people who wanted to meet her. So I think the main thing I said was, I'm a big fan of the show. I enjoyed your character. I was a little sad at the end of season 2, spoiler, that, you and your dad left to go back to your own Earth. But then I saw that you were coming back, so I was like, yay! Yeah. So this time I hope that you are dressed up as a speedster. To which, then I said, you don't have to spoil it or anything, I'm just hoping. And here is the main difference between Marvel and DC. When you ask someone from Marvel something about the future, they only say, I don't know.
Right. And because some of the times they're being honest.
Yeah.
They really don't.
And even if they do know, they can't tell you.
Right.
This is DC. So again, I say, I really hope, we see you dressed up as a speedster, soon. And she's like, oh yeah, I totally do. And I was like...
You've heard it here possibly first?
Well, she said, oh yeah, it got around to the internet, but just no pictures. Like, oh, well, sometimes unlike another acquaintance of ours, I don't believe everything I read on the internet.
Yeah.
Because there was an article going, oh, Violet Bean is seen dressed as the Jesse Quick character. But no pictures. Plus, I was like, okay, we'll just,
And her name was already Jesse Quick in the second season, so that wouldn't be too much of a surprise.
It wasn't a stretch, but, it's still the surprise element.
Right, yeah.
But, she just straight up, oh, yeah, I totally do.
Literally hearing it from the horse's mouth.
I was like, oh. I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh, I expect you to just flat out say that. Okay, sure. Thank you.
So it's been confirmed now.
Next picture.
Oh, who is this guy?
It is Brett Dalton.
It is Brett Dalton again.
So this was the first time I went to his table, and I introduced myself. Hey, I'm that guy who
insulted you about the Oscar.
Yeah, and it was one of the first of many encounters with Brett Dalton. So I just started off nice and sweet. Love the show. Big fan of your character, and we took a picture. Yeah, as we are looking at right now. What's the caption even say?
It says, Brett Dalton, you're amazing, standing with Ward.
Okay, so that was very basic.
And somebody said you're their hero underneath that.
But I did tell him, after we took this picture, I'm going to come see you every day you're here. And he was like, yeah, awesome. And I'm thinking, I hope you know I'm serious.
And he got on his phone with his lawyers, got the restraining order signed.
So, yeah, that was just a very basic one. I didn't want to, do too much with,
I would assume he would have quite a line.
He actually did. I'm not that I'm, dismissing S.H.I.E.L.D. in any way, but, I didn't expect him to have, as busy of a lines as he had. Yeah. But, hey, that just translates that the show really does, resonate.
And let's, I thought you met somebody else from S.H.I.E.L.D. also.
No, that's the only person from...
for some reason I thought you met Gemma.
No, oh my god, I wish.
Oh, sorry.
I wish she was there.
I was going to try not to
Elizabeth Hensford, if you're listening, if you want to come to DragonCon next year, I can guarantee you'll probably get the Brett Dalton treatment.
Yeah, right? That is what it will officially be called from now on. It's no longer stalking. It's the Brett Dalton treatment.
Yes. And then next year it'll be the Elizabeth Henstridge experience for the next person. Right. The only reason I didn't do that to Ming-Na when I met her was because I had only I only had X amount of money and X amount of time at the convention in Orlando. So it was really one shot. Right. So I couldn't,
And you got a great picture with her.
I did get a great picture. I love it, but, if I could do it, the Brett Dalton experience to her, oh yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. No,
in fact, it would, it would have been called the McNaugh experience.
I would help you on that one.
There you go. So next picture.
So we've gone from Marvel to DC, back to Marvel, now let's take a little trip down Vertigo.
Yes.
With iZombie.
Oh man. Speaking of the iZombie, so I went to the iZombie panel, and man, they are hilarious. You could tell that they really like working with each other.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they're really good at acting. But it's such a cliche, to always say, but it's still nice to hear, whether it's a cliche or not.
Right.
Yeah, they have some good stories. They're not as spoilery.
Okay.
But they did allude to things that are happening in season 3.
Do we get Rob Thomas back?
I actually didn't ask that.
Oh.
I think I was too scarred. I didn't want to bring up.
That was the most important question right
I didn't want to bring up anything that made me sad.
Yeah, we probably won't.
But they did say something that there will be an episode, you're hearing it here. There will be an episode of season 3 where Major and Liv eat a father-daughter brain.
Okay.
And Major...
This makes sense if you've seen iZombie, by the way.
Yeah. Major eats the daughter, and Liv eats the father.
Nice.
So she said, watch out for that episode.
A nice Freaky Friday episode.
Yeah. She said, watch out for that episode. And she's Rose McIver who's saying this. She said, Robert Buckley was born to play a 13-year-old girl.
That's very good to know.
If you think he's just that weightlifting guy or the hunk guy, you're wrong. 13-year-old girl is where he's at.
So I know there's a Dalton picture in between the iZombie, but let's look at all the iZombie ones together there.
Yeah.
The first one you met.
Unfortunately for me, Rose McIver was not taking pictures at the table. I, however, did
But
get
you have
her.
the
I did
Funko
get
Pop.
Yeah, I did get her to sign my pop figure. It was funny. So, I came up and, again, short and sweet. You're not the only fan. But, love the show, and I did say, I remember when I heard your accent for the first time, and then I'm totally going to butcher this. Yeah. But she's like, yeah, I know, I'm a fraud. And I was like, no, I didn't say that.
No, but she does need to eat like a New Zealand brain,
Yeah, and you know what? As much flack, and I think you are the only person I really express this to, as much flack as I give her of her non-zombie appearance, I will say in person she looks just as amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Still would have liked the white hair, but
right. Yeah.
But oh man, she's as cute as she is in the show.
Yeah.
But I did say, I remember watching her iteration of the Power Rangers a little bit. She's like, "Oh, do you follow?" I was like, "I follow the original ones. I occasionally dip in the other ones just to kind of see what's going on." And it's like, oh, "Okay, I got it." But it's kind of cool because for those who don't know, the Red Ranger of her series plays Malcolm in Jessica Jones. And I thought after I was like, "Isn't it funny how you and Ika are like doing real work now?"
From Power Rangers to real work.
Yes.
Yeah. And you also met Blaine.
Oh man, he was great.
He seems like he would be a great guy.
You know what? He actually did not take pictures at his table for the first 2 days. I think the last day they were saying, we need to scrape as much money as we can. All right, buddy, come on, take pictures.
Yeah.
Which I was like, fantastic. He is hilarious in his panels. We went to an 11:30 panel on a Sunday, and he came in all dazed with sunglasses on, and there were periods where I was like,
he's living the zombie life.
Exactly. And there were some times where, like, when other Ali Mashalka and Rose McIver were answering questions, like he would just sit there and I'm thinking, is he even awake?
Probably not.
And when I went and met him, and I was like, hey, I love the panel. He's like, really? I don't remember half of it. And I told him, the main thing I wanted to tell him, because I'm not a long-time fan of his, I'm a relatively new fan.
Yeah, I don't know of anything besides iZombie.
He was in Alias and Heroes, something I pointed out.
Was he in season 1 of Heroes? Because that's the only season I watched.
I think he was in season 2.
Okay.
From what I've heard. But nonetheless, I said, I'm a relatively new fan of yours, but, by God, you are knocking that role out of the park.
Because you hate him, then you love him, then you hate him, then you love him.
But overall, you love him.
Right, yeah.
And I told him, the moment that sold the character, you as the character in general, just everything about Blaine and David Anders was the scene where, in the first season, where this kid's trying to find his friend at a skate park.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's going around, have you seen my friend? Yeah. Have you seen my friend? And, he taps on a shoulder, and then, it revealed that's Blaine.
Right.
He's like, have you seen my friend? And Blaine looks at the picture just going, buddy, I just saw him.
Yeah.
Just the combination of the line and the way he delivered it and the way his eyes moved. I just saw him. He's like, really? Yeah.
If you didn't know how evil this guy was, then you would have followed him.
I told him that. I was like, man, I knew you were about to kill him, but I wanted to go too.
Right.
And the best part was, and I love it when anybody does this, Phil Lamar did it for me when I told him that his Green Lantern is like how I picture the Green Lantern, and then he did the voice. Oh, and my heart just melted. David Anders, when I said, that was my favorite part, he even went, yeah, buddy, I just saw him. He did the lines. Nice. And I was like, see, I want to go with you now.
Right. Yeah, I don't care where you're going. You can go to the bathroom. I'm following you.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a nice guy. And Ali Mashalka I did meet, who plays Peyton.
Right.
Backstory, I'll try to make it short and sweet, but I was an extra in a movie she filmed here in the city we live in.
Okay.
It was maybe almost 4 years ago. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been a lot filmed here.
So. There's been a lot filmed here, and I don't think the film's still even been released. So I don't know what that says about that movie.
Right.
But she was in it, and yes, I'm a stalker.
Yeah.
Let's just say I got information where they were going to eat after the film set, and I made sure I was there.
That's like professional stalking.
That is professional.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because anybody can go on Facebook and.
I'm sorry, Ali Mashalka. I lied to you because I told her about that, but I lied and said, "Hey, I was eating somewhere and I happened to see you."
Right.
No, I'm sorry, Ali Mashalka.
All these restraining orders we're going to be getting in the mail here.
I know, right? But I didn't do anything. If you recall, nothing happened. You wouldn't even remember me. You wouldn't even know if I told you.
Now, see, like I said, in between all the iZombie pictures, there is another Brett Dalton.
Brett Dalton.
Let's see. This one says, Brett Dalton, if you didn't think I was serious about seeing you every day this weekend, I'm too big of a fan to lie to you like that. Now, if that doesn't sound stalkerish.
Well, that one, again, we go back to a normal picture.
Right.
So, I think that was, he had a pretty big line. Mm-hmm. So again, respect to people behind you.
Yeah.
Again, you're not the only fan, so I just kind of wanted to remind him. That was more of a reminder, like, hey, I'm back. So, we didn't get too deep there, but that was more of a reminder, like, hey, I'm back. And, I said, like I said, I will be here.
Right. And at least you wore a different shirt in each picture with
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to illustrate that.
At least it looked like you bathed, because we talked about that in the previous Dragon Con
episode.
Oh,
no, yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so I don't know if I even touched this. Another tip. Vitamin Up.
Okay.
I drank an emergency every day before I went, and I feel fine. Okay. I know someone who we work with who went to Dragon Con as well. She does not feel well at all.
The con crud?
The con crud. Now, granted, I don't stay as long as probably the people who stay there, but still,
Yeah. And you don't do the late night partying and stuff
but
like
still,
that.
Protect yourself.
Right, yeah.
From various things. We're not going to get into that.
Now, when I first saw this picture on the Instagram,
yes,
it kind of threw me off because it says, only at Dragon Con could I meet the cast of iZombie and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which that made perfect sense to me. But the whole time I'm thinking, this guy looks familiar, but I don't recognize him from, iZombie or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything, but he still looks very familiar. He looks almost like an old boy band member, and sure enough, it is.
I met two guys from NSYNC who. So I'm.
Nobody remembers Chris Kirkpatrick though.
I'm 27, so I grew up during the boom of like pop music and boy bands, or I guess the reemergence of boy bands.
Right.
Because
I grew up during New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. So, and I like pop music. So naturally, NSYNC was just a huge deal to me.
Right.
Still is a huge deal to me. Love Justin Timberlake. Still, I don't care.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, meeting the other people, awesome. But and you can tell that they. I don't want to phrase this in the wrong way. You can tell they know that they're not as popular as Daredevil.
Right. Yeah.
But that really humbles them because in that line I went with them, they talk to everybody,
right?
And not just the hey thanks love you, thank you, but they actually had full on conversations with people.
Okay.
Sometimes too long because I was trying to get to other lines, and I was like, so
it's bad when you got to cut off the star there. So
so I was maybe the fifth person in line, and normally in another line, I'd be in and out.
Right.
This one, I was like, I mean, great guys, you're making people's lives right here.
Yeah, come on, bye.
Bye, exactly. So I got up there, I said, hey, I remember learning dance moves. I told Chris that I remember in 6th grade, I told him, obscure story, but I remember a girl asked me, who's your favorite NSYNC member? And I said Chris. And she's like, ew, he's weird. But then I followed up. But then I found out later in life she is a complete train wreck. So who's winning here?
Right, yeah.
And then he was like, and he looks at Joe, he's like, and looks at me and Joe, he's like, that's the weirdest thing. You're like the third person that said that today. And then he looks at Joe, he's like, did I give off some kind of vibe or something?
Well, Joey Fatone was always my favorite. So.
But they were talking, and speaking of the dance moves, I was like, he was like, I told him I know and still know the dance moves to It's Gonna Be Me. And then they mentioned pop. And I was like, oh no, I'm not doing pop. That one was too much. And he's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I couldn't
They lived it.
Well, it's funny because when I said, I remember when the video came out, I watched it all night and I learned all night just to make sure. And they were like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, right.
So, but it was fun. And, again, Dragon Con always gets a variety of people.
Did they perform it all there?
No, they hosted like the masquerade event. But
okay.
Then they didn't really. I don't think they wanted to. And plus, you can't do NSYNC without the other ones anyway.
Right.
So.
No, we're still good on time.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
People are trying to invade our headquarters here.
So anyway, but it was still nice to see them. And it was nice to have such a variety of people at Dragon Con.
Did you know they were going to be there?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But, it's still wonderful to see.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because even, you can know everybody's going to be there, but unless you plan it perfectly, you might not see everybody you want to see.
I generally try to, but...
you have a short list of people.
Well, that's why, I think my consecutive years of Dragon Con might come to a close next year.
Okay.
Nothing against Dragon Con.
Right.
You guys have given me a lot, but I remember, say, my first and second year, going to that Hall of Fame, my mind exploded.
Yeah. Because
literally all the people I respect are in this room. This year I was like, okay, I don't know where you're from. So this section, I'm not familiar with you.
Right.
This section, I met you. So there was a minority of people I really wanted to meet.
Yeah.
And that's, Dragon Con's getting more expensive. So, if I want to, save money, because that's what I go for.
Because you kind of have to view it as, okay, if I'm spending $200, am I going to enjoy myself $200 worth?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I want to go next year because I'm hoping that James Gunn comes back. Because he came for the promotion of First Guardians.
Right.
And signed for autographs and talked to everybody. He was amazing. So next year, it will be... by the time Dragon Con rolls around, the second one will be out. So I'm kind of hoping maybe he does the same thing, or maybe they can actually get Guardians to come, or just various other things. I think the Defenders will premiere on Netflix by next year. So I'm hoping, maybe Charlie Cox is like, hey man, this con was fun. You guys should come with me next year,
right? Yeah.
Or something like that. So I'm kind of hoping, stuff like that will, come into play, and I can get to meet, them.
Yeah. And then we go back to the world of comics and TVs, and you met Hulk Girl.
Yes.
It's so hard not to say Hot Girl.
I will say I've gotten better. Sometimes every year I get a picture with a hot actress, simply because they're hot.
Right.
I don't necessarily know their work, but nonetheless, I just wanted it. Hot Girl is my frivolous one of the year, because, shock, I do not watch Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I also found out at the con that the origin of Hawk Girl in Legends is different than what it is in the comics.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I've seen the first few
episodes. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
So, let's just say, also Hawkman was there.
Okay.
Let's just say I kind of death stared him for a while. I was like, you're not the Hawkman and Hawk Girl I know.
Right.
But nonetheless, I just wanted a picture with anyway. Because if you haven't seen Sierra Renee, who plays Hawk Girl on Legends of Tomorrow, I don't think she's actually on it anymore. But nonetheless, in the DC Berlanti universe, CW universe, look her up. She's, very attractive.
If you want to look at her episodes in Flash.
Yes, which I did.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not a complete liar. I've seen her. But, just not in the capacity that you're probably most famous for. But we took a silly picture, which was fun.
Right. And speaking of the Flashverse,
yes,
because I refuse to call it Arrowverse.
Yes,
you don't have a picture with Cisco, but you have a picture with some of his property.
Funnily enough, this is the second con where I've seen Cisco, but I don't really. Nothing against him, but don't really care to meet him.
Right.
I don't know what it is. It's just like, of all the people that are there, it's like. If it comes up.
Hawk Girl Cisco.
If it comes up, but
if you ran into him on the escalator, you wouldn't knock him down.
Yeah, no. And I enjoy his character, but just something goes, if I don't meet him, I don't think it would
I literally know him in nothing else, so I
don't think he's in anything else.
Okay.
I think if you look at his filmography, it's only Cisco Ramon.
Okay.
Which, is, hey.
Because I'm not even sure is the actor's name off the top of my head.
Carlos Valdez.
Yeah, Cisco.
There you go. But nonetheless, I at the convention I went to in May where I saw Ming-Na. He was there. Dragon Con, he was there. But both times I was like, sorry, Carlos.
So the souvenir in the picture. There.
The only reason we did that, so it was, he was at the professional photo ops with the fans, and the little. So read the caption.
Okay. So, anyone watch The Flash? Cisco? We took his hand sanitizer.
So his hand sanitizer was on the floor next to his table. And then we used it to sanitize our hands.
Makes sense.
And then I think we thought of, wouldn't it be funny if we just took it? So we did.
Yeah.
And that's really it. There's no explanation. Just, we took Carlos Valdez's...
You look very proud of yourself there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Carlos Valdez. Yeah. I hope this does not affect your performance on The Flash.
He then got pneumonia after that because you took his hand sanitizer. That's how hand sanitizer works, right? All right, so I'm just going to go straight to the caption on this one.
Yes.
The paragraph.
Yes.
Yes, I've been spamming the feed with pictures of Brett Dalton, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one... Actually, I'm going to let you read this one because it is a little bit more TeeVo.
So, third day... I took another picture with Brett Dalton. A silly picture.
Yeah.
So
I thought he was just scared because you it's that guy again.
No. This is the one where I was a little conscious of like, oh man, I hope I'm not annoying him, and I hope he's not offended by the Lupita Nyong'o thing.
Yeah.
Because other people did remember me from the panel. I was like, oh man, I can't believe it. I was like, oh, sure, I want to make sure Brett Dalton's okay.
Right, yeah.
It's like, the last thing I do is want to.
Yeah, you don't want to offend someone you're a really big fan of.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to point out something. It was just me being me.
Right.
But anyway, so the caption for this picture is, yes, I've been spanning the feed with pictures of Brett Dalton. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of my favorite shows of all time. I love all the characters, main or recurring, which is true. Like last year, I met Trip.
Okay.
And, I had... the greatest things to say about his character, even though spoiler, but it's an old spoiler. Yeah. He does die. Being able to spend Dragon Con with one of the original 6 has been such a dream. As much as I am loyal to Coulson and Clark Gregg, I've always had a soft spot for Grant Ward. He was like the cool other brother that Fitz and I never had. But I'm sure glad Ward didn't throw me out of the plane. Which is true, I know Ward got such flack before he was revealed to be Hydra. And while I understood it, I was like, yeah, but I still like the guy.
Yeah.
And I really did kind of relate with Fitz in that way of looking at Ward. He was just like that cool, protective older brother.
Yeah.
And it really solidified the episode where they went on the mission together, just the two of them. It's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always felt that way before the notion of meeting Brett Dalton. So yeah, seeing Brett Dalton, just like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I can definitely understand that. And then it ends with you getting a hug here.
And that is the final picture with Brett Dalton. Funny story before that. I actually, before this, I ran into him in the escalators.
Okay,
yeah.
Literally?
Yeah. He was going up, and I saw him, and I was like, hey, Brett Dalton. He's like, hey, man. And, and I was proud of myself, didn't ask for any, like, oh my God, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, actually, I watched the pilot again.
So you treated him like a human.
I did. And yes, please treat these people like humans, because they are humans.
Right.
I just told him, I asked him, have you enjoyed the weekend so far? Because it was the last day of Dragon Con. And he's like, yeah, man, I've been having a blast. And I just told him, actually, I revisited the pilot last night. It's so weird to have met you this weekend and then see you, And so then, I got there, and can you describe the picture?
The picture, it looks like somebody meeting a god,
yes.
Almost, really. a humble mortal in the face of a god. It is TeeVo giving Brett Dalton a very big, very tight-looking hug there, and Brett Dalton reciprocating the hug. He doesn't look uncomfortable at all, and a huge grin on both their faces.
Yes. And the caption reads for the end of it, and I have a bonus story, one that you will like.
Okay.
But this is,
This is the end of the Brett Dalton tales.
This is the end of the Brett Dalton tale. And I captioned it, "The sun has set on my Dragon Con of 2016. Thank you to all the guests, organizers, and volunteers. Special thanks to Brett Dalton for making my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fandom scream so loud. Indeed, I stood with Ward. For anyone who knows me and saw my post this weekend, man, could you imagine what I would do if I ever meet Clark Gregg?
Cry, probably.
I don't know.
You're like tears of joy. But
I don't know. Because, I don't scream my Brett Dalton fandom as loud as, certain people.
Yeah.
But
my wife.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
But I do scream my Clark Gregg fandom very loud. So that's why I meant, man, if you were surprised about how much I'm treating Brett Dalton this weekend, oh my God.
You might literally attach yourself to Clark Gregg.
Yes.
I'll just follow you to the panels and all that.
I'll be your non-official volunteer.
Right, yeah. Unpaid. It doesn't,
Unpaid, on everything. Just make sure I get to have a whiff of you.
Right. And the special bonus story here, you said.
Yes, so my coworker asked if I could get a pop figure sign of William Shatner.
Nice.
William Shatner. And why I didn't consider it, I didn't put it with everything because, it's for him. Mm-hmm. So it was on a Monday. Mm-hmm. So this happened right before the last picture we just described with Brett Dalton. Mm-hmm. I did see William Shatner. I can't really say I met William Shatner, though. Okay. Because, so to get an autograph, you had to buy a ticket.
Right.
Which, essentially, the ticket is the cost of the autograph.
Okay.
Which is $75.
Yeah, but it's William Shatner. So.
It's William Shatner.
Yeah.
Not complaining. Plus, it also wasn't my money.
Okay, there you go.
This was paid for by him. I just was the person to actually get a sign. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that you could buy these in advance. And where they stick William Shatner is not where they stick everybody else.
Right.
Because,
William Shatner.
That room would be completely full.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already full as it is, but, you put someone like William Shatner. I think this year they put Gillian Anderson and William Shatner in separate rooms.
Okay.
Got
to keep them separated, yeah.
Yeah, for good reason, they have a lot.
Because this isn't Comic-Con, they don't have Hall H where they can just fill it with 1,000 people.
Exactly. So, I got in line, and then they said, okay, well, we have to let the people who bought tickets first. I was like, oh, wish I would have known that. I could buy tickets first. Yeah. So, but luckily, I got there early enough to where I wasn't that far off in line anyway. Mm-hmm. Bought the ticket to the autograph and told them, hey, I'm getting this sign. They're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Was in line for a long time, almost 2 hours.
Oh wow!
But when he got in, he said, hello everybody. Mm-hmm. And man, he whizzed through these people.
Well, he's professional at it.
He's professional.
He's been doing these things.
But this is the moments where I could, people kind of hate on certain people at conventions because he didn't even look up to people. Yeah. I mean, when you have that many people you have to go through, the only time how long you would have been there had he had conversations with everybody. The only time he looked up was when he couldn't read what the little, because you fill out a Post-it note with your name and various message. So the message was just too long. Like one person wanted to do What's the thing Kirk says? Space
the whole intro. Yeah.
Someone wanted him to write that.
Yeah, no.
And like he looked at the person like, how about I just write space? You can fill in the rest.
Nice.
So
that would be perfect for me, right there.
So it gets to me. And, pop figures, they're best signed with other colors other than black. But, black's still fine.
Yeah.
But I asked if he could sign it in silver to the person that hands it to him. And the guy said, yeah, sure. So then the guy hands it to Shatner. And then the guy says to him, clearly, he wants it signed in silver. Shatner then signs it, not only with a black Sharpie, but a dying black Sharpie. So it's already faded.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad because, my friend just spent $75 on it. I took a picture of it because you can't say, hey, can you do it again?
Right, yeah.
And also,
Get the back of the line.
I don't have another Shatner pop.
Yeah.
So that had to be it.
Yeah.
And what's worse was the only reason I asked for it in silver because Kirk's shirt is yellow.
Right.
If anything, I would have liked it have it in gold.
Right.
But he would have had to pick up a gold Sharpie. He was already holding a silver Sharpie. He was holding a black one and a silver one.
Wow.
That's why I was like, what? Come on, Kirk.
I know.
And so I took a picture of it, and I just said, "I'm so sorry, man, but you're gonna have to take care of this one. Like this can never see the light of day again,
right? Because
it's already aged 20 years in sunlight.
You have to keep it in an airtight box,
right?
Only under black light can you view it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that would be my Kirk story. That's
still
my story.
Cool, though.
It's still cool, and it's at least a funny story. Yeah. But I still. You just paid $75.
Yeah.
And also, because I wasn't going to go on Monday. Thank goodness I did, because I got another day with Brett Dalton.
Yeah.
But, I did ask, hey, could you at least pay for my parking? Because I originally was not going to go Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could take care of parking for me, I would get the sign, no problem.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he just spent like almost $100 for me to get a Shatner signature. Yeah. And it's faded. So I did feel bad about it.
Yeah. No,
But yeah, no.
But at least you didn't, do like some fans out there and throw a fit, about it.
No, because again, I understand. It's like, this, unfortunately, in another business, maybe you can say something, but in that's it.
Yeah.
Unless I can get another Kirk pop and another $75.
Right. And get in the back of the line.
Yeah. Do it again. That's it. There isn't, that was my chance with William Shatner. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, thank you. Didn't even look up. Didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
So,
that's got to be tough on them, though. That's got to be draining going through all that.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't look like a lot sitting there and signing things, but
yeah. But yeah, again, that's just my story with him. I don't hate William Shatner for it.
Yeah.
If anything, it's just like sure, it sounds like a gripe. It might be a gripe, but it's whatever.
But like I said, it makes a funny story.
It does make a funny story
because everybody else is just like, oh, William Shatner signed this.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. I at least have. He was
Shatner poorly signed.
My main funny point. He was holding the silver Sharpie. It wasn't
because until you said that, I almost gave him credit for like maybe this silver Sharpie was like 3 feet over. No.
And that was the gold one. Which preferably, if I was getting a Kirk pop sign, I would have him with the gold one.
Right.
But I was like, no, I'm not gonna make him work anymore. But apparently, that was asking too much. To flip the Sharpie he was already holding to sign it with it. So yeah.
So any other minor stuff you want to add before we wrap up
here? No. Fun weekend. I kind of dispersed things, tips, and hopes for next year along with it, which is what I kind of wanted to do. I didn't want to go like, okay, on this day.
Right, yeah. We didn't need the full play-by-play.
I went here and here.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. Dragon Con. I actually got to see a lot of different things, like the vendors, because the same coworker wanted me to buy the Dragon Con exclusive Dragon Ball Z pop.
Okay.
So I went to a building I'd never seen before, and I will go again because it was awesome.
Okay.
Where the vendors are. Mm-hmm. And Ward's panel, the first one was in the Sheraton Hotel, which, as I mentioned before, I go there to get my badge, but I've never been in there past that. And they have wonderful bathrooms.
Nice.
Wonderful rooms. Mm-hmm. I would go there a lot more now. Probably just to use the bathroom.
Right, yeah. Doesn't even have to be during Dragon Con. Just passing through Atlanta.
Hello! I'm just gonna... I need a potty break.
I'm surprised you didn't Instagram the bathrooms there.
I'm not our other acquaintance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to see new things, you know, in addition to things I usually do. I know I said, you know, like I didn't see as many guests that I wanted to meet.
Yeah.
But still, you know, the experience I had with the ones I did, you know, wouldn't take it back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you got your money's worth.
I got my money's worth. But, you know, it's just something I'm considering. It's like, you know, do I want to keep going? Because if it's going to keep dwindling like that, sure, they're probably going to get someone I really want to see. But, you know.
Yeah. Does it have to be an every year?
Yeah, exactly.
Thing, yeah.
And, yeah, so if you guys went to Dragon Con, please tell us your story.
Yeah.
Or if you saw me, which, you know, you don't know what I look like, so that'd be you probably did. You don't know who I am.
Right, yeah.
But I guess self-promotion time, so if you want to see said pictures, I'm on Instagram at son, S-O-N, _ V-O. You can find me there and look at pictures that we were talking about.
Yeah, right now his main picture, his avatar, whatever you want to call it, is him with Ming-Na Wen from Orlando.
Yes, so that would be me.
Yeah.
And that would be my conclusion of Dragon Con.
All right, sounds great. Next week we'll be discussing some of the shows that are coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, to prepare for S.H.I.E.L.D. first, of course, but also Flash, Supergirl.
But S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's coming on first. So.
Yeah, so we'll spend most of the time talking about S.H.I.E.L.D. We'll try to touch on the other ones also, but be prepared to hear our opinions about the first 3 seasons of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Finally.
And find out what we hope to see from Season 4.
It's funny, when we started the show, it was almost going to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Yeah.
But we started it in the summer break, and there's not much to really talk about.
Yeah, we realized very quickly how much space there was between when we first started and when
September 20th actually comes on.
Yeah.
So
we got to fill a lot of space.
It's exciting for us that it's finally happening.
Yeah. So yeah, there'll be a lot less filler episodes and more very specific episodes.
Yes. Well, till next time then.
All right. Until next time.